special session evening, we have two lectures. One is by Dashrath Thambale. Since he has to go a little early, we are organizing his lecture first. I would request Ramasamy, Dr. Ramasamy, to co-chair this session, and Saxena Madam to please come on the dais. I would also request Tamale to come on the dais, and Dr. Ram Kaundanya to please come on the dais. All those who are standing outside, I request once again that now we are just starting the session right in time. I would request you to kindly come inside. Yes, madam.
Honorable Chairman, Co-Chairman, our invited speakers, all the dignitaries present here, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. I, Dr. Varsha Satankar, welcome you all in this evening, in the evening session of special lectures. So, before starting this lecture, sir, as a token of our warm welcome, we would like to present bouquet of flowers to our chairman and co-chairman. So I request Dr. S.K. Shukla sir to welcome our chairman Dr. S.N. Jha sir, DDG Agriculture Engineering, with bouquet of flowers. Again, I request Dr. Shukla sir to welcome our co-chairman Dr. Ramasamy sir, CEO, Rasi Seeds Private Limited. Yes, sir. So before proceeding, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our chairman and co-chairman. So our chairman is Dr. S.N. Jha sir, DDG Agriculture Engineering. Yes, sir. Sir has served as Assistant Director General ADG Process Engineering ICAR New Delhi, and he has Dr. S.N. Jha sir is globally ranked amongst the top 2 scientists across all fields of research based on citation metrics prepared by Stanford University, USA. He has developed many important machinery in the field of agriculture and food processing. He has more than 275 research publications and 4 granted patents at his credit. Sir has been recipient of several prestigious awards such as Rafi Ahmed Kidwai Awards, NAS Fellowship, ISAE Fellowship, Japan Society for Promotion of Science, etc. Presently, sir is working as Deputy Director General, DDG Agriculture Engineering at ICAR headquarters, New Delhi. Our co-chairman is Dr. Ramasamy sir, CEO, Rasi Seeds Private Limited. He is very active with various agriculture and policy guiding forums of national and global repute. He has been recently nominated as a member of National Steering Committee of the National Agriculture Higher Education Project by Secretary Dare, ICR. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hand over to chairman. Yes, sir. So now I would like to hand over the session to our chairman. Sir, I would like to request you that, sir, our speaker, Shri yes, sir, Shri D.L. Tamle, sir, he has to go early, so he will present first. So I hand over the session to our chairman. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I request our chairman, Dr. S.N. Jha sir, to welcome our speaker, Shri Tamle sir. Shri Dashrath Tamle sir is presently Director Agriculture Atma in Maharashtra State Development of Agriculture, and he is the head of Project Implementation Unit of World Bank Assisted Smart Project. Under Smart Project, a sub project is smart cotton also implemented, and CIRCOT is technology's partner in this project. So, okay, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, madam. This is a very important session. And without wasting time, you know that Atma is really Atma for agriculture and all the allied activity at rural levels. And he is director there in looking after all the work of Atma of state of Maharashtra. So without wasting time, I request to start the session. If the co-chair want to say anything before starting.
Thank you, sir. This is a very important session. Since the director wants to go for early, let me have my remarks in the last.
Thank you, sir. Respected chairman, co-chairman, dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Mai, sir, who taught us before 40 years. So I have an opportunity to speak before him. So this is regarding cotton value chain development initiative in Maharashtra. So my presentation would be on these points: cotton value chain and major issues in the cotton value chain in Maharashtra, existing and proposed value chain through the smart cotton value chain sub-project. What is the smart cotton? Then Mahacot post-harvest marketing initiatives and some other initiatives being implemented in the Maharashtra. This I will skip, area and productivity, etc. I will switch over directly to the major issues in cotton value chain. As today you might have all discussed about the value chain issues in the cotton. There are two major issues in the cotton value chain. First is the farmer's stake in lint-based marketing is very, very limited. So farmer doesn't bother about the exact quality of the cotton, but weight of the cotton, because he gets the value based on the weight of cotton. Second is, on the contrary, non-availability of homogeneous and clean cotton to cotton industry is another issue. So this is a kind of vicious circle. On one side, farmer is not involved in the lint-based marketing, and because of that, the availability of homogeneous and clean cotton is not there, which is the major concern of the industry. So these are the two issues. And for value chain development of different crops, a project called State of Maharashtra's Agribusiness and Rural Transformation Project is being implemented in Maharashtra, which is named after Honorable Balasaheb Thackeray, who was the eminent leader of Maharashtra. And the project development objective of SMART is to support development of inclusive and competitive value chains, focusing smallholders and agri-entrepreneurs. As you know, more than 80% of farmers in state of Maharashtra are small and marginal farmers. And cotton being very important crop, almost 1/3 area of a cultivated area in the Kharif season is under cotton. And to address the value chains of major commodities produced in Maharashtra, project is being implemented since 2020. And the project cost is about $300 million, of which 70% is the World Bank loan, soft loan, and 30% is being borne by the state government. And within the SMART project, there is a sub-project called Smart Cotton Sub-Project, for which allocation of 100 crore is there. And if we look at the existing value chain of cotton, you will realize that at the bottom, for getting the input, quality inputs at right time, the farmer is dependent upon the dealers. And because he is a small and marginal farmer, it many times access to good technology, better technology is limited, or rather his bargaining power is little because his stake is very little. Now to overcome this, overall in Maharashtra, in another project we promoted 400 farmer producer companies, and later now the number of farmer producer companies in country are more than 25,000, and 1/3 of farmer producer companies are in Maharashtra. The same is being done in here also. This is the existing value chain. Second, what are the interventions we are doing through the project? We are organizing farmers into farmer groups, promoting them to cultivate the one variety in one village, one hybrid variety in one village, or at least a variety of having same staple length. A group of varieties should be grown on a specific area. And second, not only they will grow, but they will produce the bales. Instead of selling the raw cotton, they will be selling the bales. How that can happen, that I will tell later. Now, this is the kind of value chain we are promoting. These are the cotton producers being mobilized to form the groups. Then these producers groups, by means of extension services, they are promoted to grow one variety in one village, at least on 200 acre of land. And all the technological interventions for quality production and clean production are being implemented through extension machinery. And after picking, the rest of the marketing is being taken care by the Maharashtra Cotton Federation. Now, this is brief about the extent to which we are implementing the project. Now, this project is being implemented for backward linkages by Agriculture Department. Then we have another foundation called Village Social Transformation Foundation, which is chaired by the government, by Chief Minister himself. Then the Maharashtra State Rural Livelihood Mission and the MAVIM. These are the organizations which are working for mobilizing farmers into groups and extending them the extension services. The project geography is spread over the 12 districts, wherein 60 blocks we have selected, and 644 villages are there. About 61,000 hectare area is being covered presently through the projects. Now, 48 geners, we have a MOU with them. Then the 32 cotton, usually medium and long staple cotton varieties have been selected. That too with of the choice of farmers. But only thing is that they need not grow 5 varieties in 1 acre of land, because many a times this is happening. To mitigate the risk, farmers are cultivating many varieties on small piece of land, and because of which we are not able to harvest the homogeneous and the clean cotton. So to overcome this, now we have also entered into MOU with CIRCOT, who are the technology partner. Then these are the kind of extension activities: market-led demonstrations, farmer field school, training to farmers, training of lead resource persons with the help of CIRCOT, then take market meet, wherein all the actors of value chains are invited and to tell each other what are their difficulties in value chain and to come out of interventions. Then we have a tie-up with other institutes also. So these are the kind of interventions being implemented in the state, and it will be continued till 2027. Now, this is again about the kind of thing we did. Then how it is being done. Once the farmer grow a similar variety on 200 acre of land, then they are asked to bring their produce, aggregate their produce on ginning mill, with whom we have a MOU to work just as a flour mill, just to provide the service. And the bales are being prepared on the ginning mill, and based on the weight and the percentage of lint and seed, the payment is made to the farmers. First, they get the payment of seed, and later, once the bales are prepared, the marketing is being done by the Cotton Federation, for which they have developed this separate e-auction platform. Now, this is the kind of economics being worked out. If farmer would have sold the raw cotton, and what they would get if they sell the bale. Rupees 673 per quintal is the incremental value realization what farmers could get through this improved value chain. Now this rest of the post-harvest thing is being looked after by the Cotton Federation. Now these are also, there is a entire traceability. A blockchain technology has been developed right from who was the grower, which was the group that, that has produced this bale, and it has been marketed through the separate e-auction platform. And it will be branded, it is being branded as a smart cotton bales. And there is a complete traceability, and 100% bales are also tested. And the traceability is there, and we are taking all the help of CIRCOT for this kind of traceability and to maintain the quality of cotton. This is how we are working in the Maharashtra. A small initiative but very important, by which we will be able to meet the challenges in cotton value chain, particularly to increase the stake of farmers into lint-based marketing, and at the same time the industry will get the homogeneous and the clean cotton. This is a small beginning, but it involves lot of extension work and social mobilization. It is challenging, but once if the farmer realizes the importance and the industry realizes the importance, we will be able to do this. And Government of Maharashtra come out with a separate scheme with an investment of rupees 450 crores on the similar lines for the development of cotton value chain in Maharashtra. That's all. Thank you.
Very good information about the extension activity
Thank you, sir.
of your.
I request our chairman, Dr. S.N. Jha sir, to present memento to Shri
And
D.L.
since he
Tambale
has to
sir.
go, so if anyone want to ask one or two clarifications from the public, they can ask. Just बोलिए.
Sir, excellent presentation, and my only submission here, it's not a question. My submission is if we can avoid the third picking in these bales, the bales that we get will be more homogeneous. So maybe that can be implemented in the program.
Okay. I request Dr. S.N. Jha sir to present.
Sir, एक मिनट please. I am retired general manager Maharashtra Cotton Federation. I want to request two requests. We want to install the modular genes in the APMC so as to know the lean percentage to the farmers. Already we have installed in Hinganghat with the cooperation of the CIRCOT, and farmers know whatever the lean percent they are getting, they sell on that basis. So you are requested to advise APMC to install the genes. One second request, you have to request to the commissioner, textile commissioner, to give the support price of lint with the cotton so that farmers can sell their lint, because now the seller of the purchaser of the lint is very less. We want to request to the textile commissioner to add the lint rate in the MSP.
Sir,
So both the suggestions are welcomed. We noted this, and the only two pickings are being entertained for preparing these bales. It is there.
sir, one more request, sir. The seed industry is taking lot of effort to promote high density planting. So that is the door of early. It will give a wonderful matured fiber. You will get the best opportunity. It is now there is no many varieties circulating in the high density. It is high time. Please concentrate on buying the high density varieties. That is by the way, your project will become very successful, and industry is there to support you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I welcome and I request you to be a partner in PPP project. You provide us a seed on subsidized basis, we will promote. Thank you, sir.
We have enough area in Akola, around Akola. You can take it up. I will ask my people to be in touch with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tamale. I think now it's time for our special Barwale Memorial Lecture. Probably you all know Indian Society for Cotton Improvement has been highly grateful to Padma Vibhushan Badrinarayan Barwale, who was decorated with World Food Prize long ago for his contribution to Indian seed industry. Mahiko is the first private seed industry established in India nearly 60 years ago under his dynamic leadership, which gave birth to series of seed companies in India on a very large scale. Dr. Barwale is also credited for the second cotton revolution after hybrid technology through the introduction of BT cotton in 2002. ISKI has been proud to establish a memorial lecture to pay our tributes every alternate year to this great man. The first Barwale Memorial Lecture was given by Dr. Kirti Rathod. I think you all know him in the same hall. He is a renowned cotton biotechnologist from Texas A&M University, United States of America. I am now happy that the second lecture is being delivered by none other than a very competent seed man, Dr. Ram Kaundanya. Ram Kaundanya is, I think, those who are from seed industry and even those who are from pesticide industry, they don't need any introduction to Ram. Agriculture graduate basically from Andhra Pradesh and MBA specialization in agriculture from IIM Ahmedabad. He has 22 years experience in crop protection industry with Hext and Salamide. Last 22 years, Dr. Ram has been with seed and biotech industry, very ardent supporter of biotech seed. He was also a global CEO for Advanta for till 2014 and is currently the Director General of Federation of Seed Industries of India. He was a member of Dr. Swaminathan Task Force in 2002 on Agriculture Biotechnology Policy of India, and he was also a member of Dr. R.S. Paroda Committee in 2019 that gave a report on policies for sustainable agriculture. Probably you all know Dr. Ram writes extensively in Hindu, Indian Express, Times of India on policy issues. We are very happy that amongst us today he is there. I would request the chairman and co-chairman to kindly offer flower bouquet to the photo of Padma Bhushan Badrinarayan Barwale. And Ram, you can please join. I am happy that the most competent man in the ICAR system, Dr. Jha, is the chairman for this particular session, and our colleague of Badrinarayan Barwale, Ramaswamy, who knows him personally very well, is the co-chairman. My colleague Saxena would be just having all the contacts and been guiding this. I would request, I'll hand over now the mic to the chairman for conducting this session.
Thank you, Dr. Mahi. Actually, really, this is a very big honor to chair this session. He is a stalwart of the seed affairs of cotton. He is going to give the memorial lecture on the name of the biggest name in the cotton industry of the world. I really appreciate to give this opportunity to me and welcome the Dr. Ram Kondulnia for giving this prestigious lecture, and we will hear him and learn something more about the cotton and cotton related business. I give opportunity request to the co-chair if you want to say something.
Dr. Barwale, I consider him as the father of seed industry in this country. He is a very kind man. He promoted many peoples, and from the day I know him, he treated me as his son. Very nice and very supportive, very positive man. And the seed industry in the country was so much strengthened because of his innovative idea of getting the BT technology into this country. It is because of his long vision this has happened. It is not only seed industry. Millions of farmers have benefited because of his foresighted action. This is I admire his effort, and he was the first person to get conferred with a doctorate from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. Fortunately, I was the second person to get the doctorate from TNAU. That is all because of cotton. Thank you.
Now I request and welcome you, sir, to deliver your lecture.
So before we start the presentation, I request our co-chairman, Dr. Ramasamy sir, to welcome our speakers, Shri Ram Kondania sir, with flower of bouquet. Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Chairman, Co-Chair of the session, greetings and regards to many scientists, technologists, policymakers, industry members, and other dignitaries who are here this evening. It's my proud privilege to deliver Dr. Badrinarayan Barwale Memorial Lecture today. I had very few interactions with Dr. Barwale. Unfortunately, I couldn't spend too much time with him. But during those few interactions, I could understand or I could realize the great soul that he was and who gave a direction to the seed industry in India. He was a man of great qualities. Some of them were highlighted by Dr. Ramaswamy. A lot of foresight, hard work, vision, and real dedication to the cause of the farmers. I think these are some of the things were his qualities, but his contributions are also great, as already were highlighted by Dr. Ramaswamy, Dr. C.D. Mai, and others. In my opinion, his greatest strength and his biggest contribution is to place research at the center of the universe for the seedsmen of the country. You know, when you have anything new that comes up, the first person who actually leads has a huge impact on the people who follow him.
right? Even in a family, the eldest son will actually show the way for the rest of the people, son or daughter, whatever. Similarly, he being the eldest person in the seed industry has shown the way that you have to invest in research. And that is actually a great contribution. It was an inspirational mantra for the seedsmen. Many companies picked it up. Obviously, everybody didn't succeed in that, but some of the companies have actually succeeded in bringing highly innovative and research-based seed varieties to the market for the benefit of the farmer. So I would like to quote Dr. Barwale's own statement, where he said that seed is a critical input in crop production and continuous research is important to find innovative solutions for farm productivity improvement and for the nutritional security of the nation. This is a very profound statement he made. And in his honor, when I'm giving this talk today, I thought that it would be very appropriate for me to talk about research. That's why I said that this talk I will dedicate towards research, and particularly in cotton, because cotton research is something on which I think we need to talk. We are at crossroads, and then it is very necessary to talk about cotton research at this juncture. So the subject I have chosen is Agenda for Cotton Seed Research in this decade. The decade is already 3 years old, but we have another 7 years to go, which is also sufficiently long enough period for us to give a direction which can take us into the next 15, 20 years. I may not say many things which you don't know. Many of you are highly accomplished people in cotton. But I will still try to venture into this and then say a few things which are of high priority as far as the industry is concerned, seed industry is concerned. Generally speaking, research investments in India are low at the overall level, because our investments in research have remained low because traditionally it is a country where we have actually taken, for example, you take pharmaceutical industry or agrochemical industry, our strength is in reverse engineering and not in discovery. Similarly, in many other industries, our research investments have been low because we pursued a different strategy during the early periods of our economic development. If you see our agricultural GDP, which is more than 45 lakh crores, our agricultural research spend will be less than 0.5%, which is actually one of the lowest in the world. So this is also something that extends to the seed industry. Seed industry is around 25,000 crore industry, but if you see the research investments by seed industry, they would be less than 3% of the revenue. They would be less than 750 crores, which works out around 3% of the revenue. And this is also very low compared to international standards. International benchmarks are around 10 to 12% of revenue should be invested in research, and we don't have that as yet in the country, and there are many reasons for this. We have had long periods where there was not enough encouragement for research. The PPV and FR Act came into picture only in 2002, but even till now the implementation of the Act is not up to the mark that actually meets the preamble of the Act. The objective of the Act is to encourage more research investment, which is mentioned in the preamble of the Act, but the Act implementation so far has not really encouraged companies to invest more in research. So there are historical reasons why this investment is on the lower side. And if you take the cotton seed industry specifically, cotton seed industry is of around 3,000 crores size revenue-wise. Sometimes it could be 10%, 15% more, or it could be 10% less, depending upon the year. Some years it goes up, some years it may be less. So it could also go up to 3,500 crores in some of the years. But if you see the total research investment in cotton seed development, it is less than 80 crores. A very liberal estimate, which actually Dr. Ramaswamy himself made, is that it cannot be more than 80 crores, 80, 90 crores, even if I add some miscellaneous thing into that, which is actually only 3% or less than 3% of the revenue. So one of the issues, and this is a very area of great concern, because out of this 80-90 crores also, most of the money, more than 50-60 crores, is invested only by a few companies, 5-6 companies, while we have more than 45-50 seed companies in cotton, operating in cotton today. So one of the areas of concern is that while some of them may be spending more than 6-7%, most of them are spending either 2% or less of their revenue on research. So this is actually very important, because there are 2-3 points I want to point out. Research, as all of you know, researchers, you know that research is a function of size. If you don't have critical mass of investment and critical mass of research program size, you will not achieve anything much in research. So one of the issues in India we face is a highly fragmented research approach. We have too many people investing suboptimal amounts of investments in research, which don't generally produce any results. So this is one issue. The second issue is that use of modern and latest cutting edge technology and science in our research is very low. If you see, it is also something traditional, but it is also related to regulations, and it is also related to our own mindset of bringing latest and cutting edge technologies into research. So we also use very less of science and cutting edge technology in our research. The third is that there is a rampant loss of parent material in the production fields. I think this is also a big area which actually causes a lot of damage to those who are investing in research. And when they see that their own research products are being stolen from production fields, the incentive to invest more in research also gets diminished. So these are the 3 reasons I would say why the research investments in the country have been on the lower side. In cotton, I am talking specifically, and there is a need to address some of these things as I move forward with the presentation. I would like to also talk today about what the industry can do and not what the government should do, because I think we have spoken enough, we have made enough representations to the government about policy recommendations and what we would like the government to do to encourage more research investments. But I think governments take their own time, and they will have their own timing of when they will do what. So I don't want to depend on that, because then the control is not in our hands. I would like to talk about those aspects which are in our hand rather than those which are not in our hand. I don't think also that the industry should hold back research investments, because the intellectual property regime in the country is not very encouraging, nor because the government policy support is not adequate. I think we should take this step that we must, as an industry, invest more in research for the benefit of the farmer, cotton farmer in the country. So I have a proposal. My proposal is that research investment in cotton seed research should be doubled in the next 3 years by the industry. Today we are investing 80-90 crores. Even if you consider that, why can't we take this up to 200 crores in the next 3 years' time on an annual basis? This is a proposal. I know that it is a proposal which many industry players would look at with a bit of apprehension because of the factors I mentioned. But I think one has to take the plunge, because if there is intellectual property problem or loss of parent seeds, whether you invest 80 crores or 200 crores, that problem will remain the same. So either you invest zero or you invest substantial amount which produces the results. I think we should go with the idea of investing substantial amounts which can produce results rather than investing suboptimal amounts. This is my first proposal, that we must have a 200 crore budget for cotton seed research by the industry in the coming 3 years. This is a big jump, there is no doubt about that, but it may produce good results, better results than what it has produced so far. But money can be wasted. You know, research is always like a black hole, and all the researchers sitting here will agree with me that as a CEO of a global company, when I used to approve research budgets, I always had this question in mind, will this give me back something or not? It is like a black hole, so money is going down, but if something comes out, it will come out after 4 or 5 years. So there is always a certain level of uncertainty about research investments. So that's why it is very important that the research must be properly directed. Well-directed research and market-driven research are very important. Market-driven research means every research rupee we spend should address existing or emerging problems that the farmers are facing. Only then it will have some kind of benefit. So TAS, ICR and NAS, 3 organizations together organized a multi-stakeholder dialogue on this subject in Delhi on 25th of February this year. And this was followed by a roundtable discussion in the Ministry of Agriculture on 24th of May this year, in which certain recommendations were brought out on what is to be done. So I am basing some of my talk on those recommendations, but many of those recommendations are related to government policy, and the implementation is also going to take place sometime in future. So I also have included some of the other points which were discussed in other fora, and then try to bring out 2-3 aspects. One is, what are the challenges we are facing? I think the cotton challenges are well known. Yield stagnation, which was around 300 kilos before BT came, 300 kilos per hectare. It went up to 566 kilos per hectare by 2013, and it has now dropped to 440 kilos per hectare. So this increase and a drop of yield is a big area of concern which we must address. Second is abiotic and biotic stresses. We all know about devastation being caused by the resistant pink bollworm. I think many sessions have happened today also where this was discussed. And also losses due to some of the critical diseases, including CLCV, boll rot and TSV, are also to be taken into account. On the other hand, climate change is increasing temperatures and causing water stress. So these are the abiotic stresses which are also affecting cotton along with other crops. The third is low quality fiber. Fiber characteristics of our cotton are still not up to the mark in the international markets. So how do we, this is an area, and also coupled with that is the contamination of cotton. I think the previous speaker spoke about it, that our cotton is not clean enough to be internationally branded and to fetch a good price for the farmer. So this is also another challenge that we are facing. The next challenge is the low lint recovery against a global percentage of 40 to 42%. We are at 35%. This is another challenge that we are facing, which in turn actually affects not only the output, but also the textile industry's requirements. Another area I would like to highlight is the high cost of picking. Currently, more than between 15 to 20% of the revenue of the farmer is going into picking costs. So this is actually a big drain on the farmer's income, and this is because of shortage of labor and increasing cost of labor. And another one I would like to mention, which we generally don't talk about, is the constraints on seed production. Hybrid seed production is becoming more and more difficult. Scaling up hybrid seed production is a challenge today. Even maintaining the current levels of production is a challenge, because we are not able to find the acreages which are needed, and high cost of production and low yields of production. These are all problems on which the production is suffering, seed production, and that we must recognize. The earlier we recognize that, it is better, because when we talk of HTPS or when we talk of closed planting systems, the seed requirement will go up. It will go double or triple if we actually achieve those acreages. So how will you supply hybrid seed for all these things? Is a big question mark. So keeping these pressing issues in mind, I feel that we have to prioritize. What is that we are trying to achieve in the next 10 years or next 7 years? What do we, unless we have a target, unless we have a goal, we cannot measure our success, that in which direction we are moving. So I would like to put forward 5 goals for the researchers for this next decade. Number one is increasing yields. Without any doubt, yields have to go up to the global best levels. By the end of this decade, can we take our yields to 700 to 750 kg per hectare from the current levels? This is one big task on hand for all of us. And if we don't do it, then the continuous shortage of cotton will be there. Second one I would say is the lint recovery. Can we take it to 40% by the end of this decade? That is another one I would like to put in front of all of you. Third is the plant health management, which includes nutrition management as well as management of the pests and diseases. How do we create climate resilient crop, and also how do we create crop which can withstand these onslaughts by pink bollworm and other diseases. Next one is that developing plant types suitable for HDPS cultivation and machine picking. So these five I would like to say are the key goals which our research must actually address. And I am sure that in bits and pieces we must be addressing these or even more than this in many of the research programs. But I think if we have to prioritize, I would like to prioritize these five as the most key objectives. Then if I have 200 crores in my mind, how do I allocate money? How do I allocate this money to different aspects? And I would like to say that there are three aspects under which I would like to cover this, which will actually meet those objectives that I mentioned, goals that I mentioned. It will also address the challenges that I mentioned earlier. The three subheads under which I would like to put this 200 crores. Number one is transformative enhancement of genetics. Genetics has to be strengthened. Genetics must become the driver for many things. So can we actually create a transformative enhancement of genetics? It has to be transformational. Step by step, incremental changes will not solve the problem. How do we transform our genetics? So number one is that increasing genetic diversity. I think it is time that we have to incorporate some of the land races and wild species from India and other countries and incorporate with a wide hybridization approach to assimilate useful QTLs in the cultivated species. Enhancement of genetic gain, improving lint recovery percentage, development of better fiber characteristics will be the main objectives of this. But if a farmer has to grow such differentiated and better quality cotton, what does he need? I think there was a discussion by the previous speaker on that. Differentiated cotton, which is of a higher quality than the normal cotton which comes to the market, if it has to fetch the farmer a higher price, then only he will grow it. So how do we have that differentiated price for cotton with better fiber characteristics? I think this is a market mechanism which has to get established, whether it is done through the cluster approach that was talked about or through FPOs and connecting them with the markets. This is something which is very important. Second one I would say is heterotic pool development and using them in breeding to improve research outcomes, which I think is also a very common thing. Third is improving plant architecture, which we talked about, that how do we improve the architecture of the plant to how do we develop dwarf, determinate and shorter duration plant types with high harvest index and suitable plant types for closer spacing, HDPS and mechanical harvesting should be the focus. This I think is a very obvious thing. Number 4 under this category is breeding for pest and disease tolerance. I think pyramid resistance QTLs for all important pests and diseases in cotton, whether it is CLCV or green mildew, bacterial blight, verticillium wilt, or insects like thrips, which actually carry TSV. These are all very important targets to have when we do the breeding for pest and disease tolerance. So under the genetics and breeding, I would like to list these 4 as the key methods in which we can achieve what we want to achieve. The second is biotechnology. Biotechnology for precision and impact. Biotechnology will help us to create the necessary impact in a very precise way, as we all know. So there I would like to list 2 action points. One is deeper engagement with modern technological tools like genomics and gene editing. Genome editing has come now, guidelines are there. So how do we use it to improve plant types or to incorporate PBW control into it. The second one is, can we come up with novel proteins and genes for pink bollworm control or for better weed management, because weed losses are also quite high in cotton. And so there is a transgenic approach which is possible in this, and can we also explore disease control through transgenic approach. So I would say under biotechnology, these are the two action areas I could think of. Then the third subcategory is research support to agronomic approaches for transformation. So agronomic practices have a lot to do with actually improving the status of cotton or transformation of cotton that we are talking about, apart from genetics and biotechnology. So the first one in that is closer spacing, using photoefficient early genotypes for closer spacing and improve yield through population-based approach. This is particularly suitable for low yielding and high rainfall area, low rainfall areas, rain-fed areas. And we have seen that there is an analysis done under which almost more than 60% of the area is yielding much less than the national average. So how do we actually improve yields there? Unless we improve yields in that 60% area, the national average cannot go up. So that is where HTPS or closer spacing will be much more effective and value for money. So this is also an area where, like it was talked earlier, that can we improve the maturity level of cotton when it comes to market? What are the ways in which it can be done so that when the textile mill buys the cotton, they are getting more matured cotton and the percentage of immature cotton comes down. I think this is also an area which has to do with not only breeding but also with agronomic practices. Precision in cotton farming through use of planters, drones, pickers and other machines supported by digitization. This is also a very important area which is upcoming now. Mechanization is the future, and I am sure CIRCOT, we are sitting in CIRCOT, so which is actually a major center for development of machines for cotton purposes. I think mechanization is going to really rapidly increase. Mechanization is a precursor for digitization. So if we can develop varieties which are suitable for mechanization, it will also enhance digitization in the cotton cultivation. The diversification of seed production. There is something called seed production research, SPR it is called. Can we undertake much higher, can we put more money into SPR so that we are able to develop alternate areas geographies where seed production can be taken up? Whether it is in India we produce or even outside India we produce, but if we have to meet the demand which is going to really rise, it can double and triple if we promote more of HTPS. How do we meet that? So yield as well as quality of seed, we have to actually undertake serious research into that aspect. The fifth one is sustainable cotton farming systems, what I call as SCFS. How do we make cotton farming more sustainable? How do we reduce chemical usage? How do we conserve soil and water? And how do we manage the waste better? Even in the ginning areas or even in seed companies, how do we actually do delinting, and what do we do with the waste and things like that? I think overall waste management is an area which needs definitely as a part of sustainable cotton farming system, we have to address that. End-to-end value chain development, I was very happy listening to the earlier speaker. I think this value chain development will give farmers a higher price. It will also force the breeders to develop varieties which are suitable or which are required by the value chain. That is what is called market-driven breeding. I think market-driven breeding is very important, not only in cotton, in general in all the crops. We have been a bit cut off from the market in our breeding programs. I'm talking of both public and private sector breeding programs that go on. I think we need to build what is the market requirement into our breeding programs and build them into the breeding objectives. Last point under that is clean cotton. Clean cotton has to be achieved through establishment of pre-cleaners. If it can be done at the village level, and we are able to do at the primary level itself cleaning of cotton, and also later in the ginning mills. So that is also an area which I was very happy to hear the previous speaker talking about how they are doing this and how bales are being made so that bales can be traded on online platforms. I think that this is a very good. So in order to give a strong push to all these research projects, my submission, and I'm happy that Dr. Prasad is also here, and ICR through him and through Dr. Jha, this message, I would like to say that there should be more collaboration between public and private. Why can't there be joint research projects between public and private? Why can't there be a consortium approach? We talked about this, Dr. Prasad knows about this. Why can't there be a consortium approach under which we are able to actually create national level, high priority, even 2 projects we create with sufficient money going into those projects so that in 5 years' time we can produce results which will have significant impact on cotton cultivation in the country. We can't spend money on 10 projects, but we can spend money on 2 projects which are the most important projects, and there should be a discussion around it, and there should be a structure made into that type of joint research programs where we can share infrastructure, where we can share capabilities, we can share germplasm, put everything together, and then make it into a national project. This is very important for us to actually, this type of PPP model, PPP in general has not succeeded so far much, but can we make a PPP model which will succeed in cotton because the country badly needs it? I would also like to throw one more question, and this is a question which keeps coming up many times. In view of these difficulties with seed production, hybrid seed production, what is the role for cotton varieties in the cultivation system? Private industry normally doesn't like varieties because it is difficult to protect intellectual property in varieties. But is there a way in which we can do it? Then the whole production system, cotton cultivation system itself can undergo a huge change. So how do we make sure that intellectual property is protected in that? And then on the other hand, if we don't do it, we will never be able to produce enough seed to meet our hybrid requirements. This much we can say that in the next 10 years. So we are coming to a point, a tipping point where we have to take this decision. But how do we take this decision and invest money in developing that type of varieties which can be useful for our country? So I think these are all, I would like to just highlight a few points, whatever I have mentioned. Number 1, suboptimal and fragmented research is of no use. I think let us all understand this very clearly. There is no point in having 20 biotech labs in the country with 1 crore budget for each. There should be 1 biotech lab with 20 crores budget. That will produce better results than 20 labs with 1 crore budget each. Similarly, breeding programs, hundreds of breeding programs with suboptimal investments are of no use. We all know it. The serious researchers know that size is very important and suboptimal sizes will not help. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is that 200 crores investment I talked about. I think private sector should come forward and then put it down as a serious step they would like to take towards this. Third is using modern science and technology. We have to get modern science and technology into cotton breeding. Cutting edge technology must come. Why should our farmer use any less quality cotton seed here compared to the farmer in US or Australia? There is really no reason. So if we have to give him the same weapons with which he can fight international markets, otherwise how will he fight the international competition? So that is another area. And next point is that our research has to be market driven. It should address existing and emerging challenges. All these things put together, I would very strongly urge that there should be a very strong dose of public-private working together. And this would be the bottom line of this. This has to happen in this decade itself because it will be too late by the end of this decade if we become a highly importing country for cotton. From an exporting country, we will be very soon slipping into being an importing country, and I think we'll have to actually take care of this. We have to think out of the box. Business as usual is passé. It is over. That time is over. If we don't think out of the box, we'll all be actually regretting in another 5-6 years' time. So I would say that these are some of the points I have tried to put together as agenda, research agenda for cotton, not only the industry but also even public sector to work together, public institutions to work together with the private industry. And so I hope some of these things would have made sense to you. And again, I would like to thank you all for your attention. I also would like to thank the organizing committee of 9th ACRDN meeting and the international conference for inviting me to deliver the Barwale Memorial Lecture. I feel really honored for doing this. And I would like to, before closing, I would like to again give a quote from Dr. Barwale's quotations that the Indian seed industry is relatively small compared to most other agriculturally developed countries. It can grow manifold by increasing the focus on seed research. Most of his quotes I have studied, and in most of his quotes he talks of research. That's why I said that the credit must go to him being the first person in the seed industry to put research at the center of the discussion. I think that is a great service he has done to the industry and to the nation. So to bring new innovation, we have to look at more research and more research investments and a better ways of doing research and a better use of science and technology. Then he also said, an increased investment in seed research requires a better framework of intellectual property protection. This is what we have been talking about, which should be facilitated in the larger interest of bringing more innovation to Indian agriculture. Many people think that intellectual property protection on seeds is anti-farmer. It is not. If you don't invest in innovation and bring new varieties and new hybrids, it is the farmer who will suffer finally, and it is the country which will suffer finally. If GM technology upgradation on cotton is denied for the last, 2005 to now, 18 years, who has suffered? It's the farmer who has suffered. The cotton farmer has suffered. Country has suffered. We are now importing cotton. So nobody gets benefited by actually reducing in research investments or by not doing sufficiently enough for intellectual property protection. So I think those are the few things I would like to highlight today. And I would like to say thank you once again. I would like to finally also say that let us think out of the box. Just continuing taking last year's thing and updating it for next year's plans is not going to help. We have to think transformationally and not incrementally. We have to think out of the box and make it into a new reality, reimagine cotton breeding, reimagine cotton research, reimagine cotton crop itself, so that by the end of the decade, we will see a transformed Indian cotton. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. You have actually summarized the whole conference of 3 days, what actually we should do. And the cotton fraternity should be very happy to get the summary of whole aim of this international conference and meeting. You have rightly pointed out and strongly pointed out that we have to invest not only money, but we have to invest intellectually and manpower together from the all fraternity of science and technology, and also the investor from the private companies and any stakeholders who are interested. You have rightly and very strongly pointed out and requested all the people to do the research and meaningful research in a coordinated manner, so that the sustainability in production, also processing and value addition should be at of paramount importance for the sustainability. You know that the government of India, particularly present government, is looking each and every point where from we are importing and what we are importing. And we have to plug the hole to stop the import almost 100% in everything. And when we are almost zero importing country in the cotton field, then It is really heartening that how we have become the importer. We are not importer of this cotton, but now we are importer of substantial amount that we have to reduce as soon as possible. For that, all the party has to come together. And of course, since morning I was also speaking around you have to improve, around you have to increase the production of 80%, whatever level you have to produce more than 80% more what level is today. And for that, all the parameters, all the fields you have to make a subgroup and then a common group of the scientists. There can be so many ways. I think that one group may be formed under the Dr. Siddhi Mahi chairmanship or yourself, or maybe the most stable person you can find out. One task force of 3 years who can come all the stakeholders of research together, so that at one time for a particular one variety or particular two variety only can be from seed to at CERT, morning consider seed to CERT, how we can come together and can show the impact of research. Then only you can show. Another important point you said, the IPR issues. IPR issues are well defined in the government of India. Now you may be knowing that even the patent and registration office have been revamped. Earlier in India, we were getting the patent in 13 years, 20 years, sometimes in 15 years. But now I used to see that the patent is being granted even a 1 year time. If you and particularly if someone is applying at accelerated, there are 2-3 channels, then you can get patent within a month or two also. But another point of infringement of the IPR, that is a very big issue in our country. For that also mechanism can be devised, and we can have very good mechanism in place, and it can be addressed easily if one task force is for that, particularly for the cotton. Keeping the benefits, keeping the importance of the farmers and their needs. These are the very important things you have highlighted. I think the co-chair will add something if I have missed something, sir.
Good, sir. I don't add more than your conclusion, sir. But I would bring to the notice of the House, it is Dr. Barwale who introduced the private sector can also enter into the research. That was the person who started, and there are several people have been developed by him, and they started different companies, and it went up very well, and almost the major seed supply chain has been commanded by the private sector. But there is now something slipped, and it is a high time now the private and public has to join together, as our lead speaker suggested. We should join together and form a alliance or form a collaborative approach and see the next phase of development in this country. And I fully appreciate and support the speech given by Mr. Ram Kaundinya. That is really a mind-boggling speech. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you. I think we thank on behalf of society that he could come all the way from Hyderabad and deliver this lecture. Kindly give big hand to Ram for a wonderful lecture and very informative. I think you must have seen how much statistical data also he has about, and I appreciate that investment in research. I think this is one part which he has said. This tragedy is in public system also. Let me tell you, we are having hardly 0.4% investment of our GDP. So that is what everywhere. So we need good investment, that is true. So I would request Dr. Gadak to kindly hand over memento to Ram Kaundanya from the society. Sujata Saxena will hand over small memento to our chairman of the function. And one to our co-chairman. आपको तो और मिलने वाले हैं जहाँ साहब. हाँ, yeah. And one to our co-chairman, Sujata, please. Yeah. And I would request Jha Sahab to give to rapporteur, Sujata Saxena Madam. So almost we are in time. And I would like to say now it is not evening, but coming to night, you are all welcome to join the best possible dinner that we have arranged in our food court. Thank you very much, all of you.
I thank our all invited speakers, chairman, co-chairman, rapporteurs, and all the dignitaries who have joined us for this sessions. Thank you very much. And here I want to make one announcement that tomorrow at 9 to 10:30 poster session will be there here at Pandal. So all the participants are requested to kindly display their banners before time. Thank you. I repeat, tomorrow 9 to 10, poster session will be there here at Pandal. So all the participants are requested to kindly display their banners here.